There's Thompson Square on Country 102, 812, 12 after 8 o'clock. And you're listening to the Louie Heron Toyota Weekend Kickoff as we get ready for another big weekend. Going to have some fall-like weather. Going to have a lot of football, as you just heard us talk about a little bit, some of the games that are coming up this weekend. And we have Louie Heron in the studio this morning. You know, everyone has their little thing that when they are thinking about shopping for a car that gets to them. One thing I did want to ask you about, and this, you know, for some people, I guess this is no problem. For others, maybe it is. But it's when you are very interested in a vehicle and you feel like you're becoming a ping pong ball. Maybe there's your salesperson, is going to send you to maybe his manager, and then and some people that they just don't really understand what's going on there.
Sure. Well, quite candidly, I mean, some people may not even believe what's going on. You know,
Right.
the old Robert De Niro. You know, the old, all the movies you see. You know, go behind the corner and talk to the manager, get a drink of water, and come back, kind of thing, right?
Right.
But you know, I'll tell you, unfortunately, our industry has done it to itself. Of course, I've been in the industry 17 years, and I would have to think back in the 70s, before I got in the car business, 60s and 70s, when things were really done, probably you know, a little more unscrupulous and unethical. You know, you got the reputation that it got, you know, and then you got movies that are out, and I think a lot of that facade and what people believe, there was some truth to that. However, I will tell you, at least the 15, 17 years I've been in the automobile industry, things have rapidly changed, mostly from the manufacturer standpoint. They have bared down on customer service and the customer experience, unlike no one would ever imagine. That's why the surveys are so important when dealers that talk about, hey, you're going to get a survey for your service experience or your sales experience, please fill it out, because that means everything to us. That means inventory, that means extra incentives, that means any kind of trips that may be available, or even compensation for salespeople down the road. If your scores aren't right, if your scores aren't where they're supposed to be, things are it's a huge detriment to the dealer. So back to your question about the back and the forth. If it were me and I had the guts, okay, I would one price strategy everything. Unfortunately, other than the fact that those that are listening to me now, as they get to know me and understand my thought process about the car business and what we do and why we do it, most people don't know me, Randy. It's just, you're just another car guy. You're just
Right.
another advertiser, right? So it's another pitch. It's another ploy. So if you're a one-price dealer, that's just another pitch, right? The reality, though, is my opinion is, if you eliminated the back and forth, I think the car experience would be tenfold better. The back, the forth, this, let me talk to a manager. But the truth of the matter is, the salespeople are not equipped to understand every facet of the finance, the credit, the deal structure, the inventory, and the day supply and urgency of when we take a deal, when we don't take a deal. And you typically have one sales manager sitting behind the desk, and he's working multiple deals. Not only is he working your deal that your salesman just left you on, he's working 4 others. He doesn't have the time to physically get into every deal from start to finish. That's why we have the sales reps. And the sales reps, unfortunately, just they know about product. They're supposed to know everything about the product, and they're supposed to know everything about the documentations that we use in the paperwork and the whole customer experience, and answer those questions. But when it comes to financial, with Privacy Act, privacy laws, credit, we just don't give the salespeople all that access. I mean, the fact is from all the rules and regulations, you just don't share everything. And when you're talking about structuring a deal, it's only really done by the 2 or 3 guys that are privy to that information. So, you know, I still think it's a valid point. I still think you can one price, because that back and forth is a bad deal for a customer. And you and I were talking, and there's nothing more frustrated when even we may call a customer up 3 days later, and the guy says, well, hey, I offered you that price when I was in the showroom. Why didn't you take it? Why are you calling me now? I bought elsewhere. Well, it's an example I would give would be similar to like I share with you, Randy. If you sold your house, you just put your house on the market for $200,000. You just put it on the market. You just listed it. You know it's worth $200,000. You painted the baseboards. You've got it touched up. Everything's just perfect. Someone comes in and offers you $140,000. Well, your first reaction may be, no, I'm not taking that. And then, you know, that customer leaves or whatever, and next thing you know, you're sitting on your house 7 months later. And there's not another nibble on your house. You're scrambling probably to find the guy that offered you $150,000 in this economy to take the deal. And the question may beg, well, why didn't you take it when I offered it to you? Well, the reality is I just put it on the market. It's a fresh unit. It's worth the money. There's value to me at this point, and I wasn't willing to take that kind of discount. Well, the car business is very different. I mean, excuse me, the very same way, in the sense that, you know, you may offer something on a car today 3 days later, Toyota may say, hey, there's another $500 rebate from now to the end of the month on that same car. Well, we're scrambling to call you back because now maybe we can take that deal. Gotcha. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or colors, or, there's so many scenarios that play out. But I agree with you. The back and the forth kills the industry. It hurts us. And the less we can do of that, the better. And that has to do with value, and that has to do with having a proper needs assessment with a customer, finding out what we need, because most car deals are missed because customers are on the wrong car. They're trying to buy too much car because the salesperson didn't do a good job of explaining or finding out what's the needs. Because I'm showing you an Avalon, when really a Camry may work just fine with leather. Does that make sense? And we're trying to negotiate a deal on Avalon, and it's just too much. And they end up leaving, and they go down the street, and they end up buying a Altima down the street instead of buying a Maxima. You know what I'm saying? So, but you have a good question. That's a good point.
And another thing is that if, and certainly it's not all on the consumer, but if the consumer does his homework before, there's going to be a lot less of that, because he's going to have a much better feel for it, and he can go to theautoschool.com and do that homework.
Randy, that is so critical, and that's why I urge everybody, before you buy a car, go to theautoschool.com. If you know somebody that's going to buy a car today, tell them to go to theautoschool.com. And the reason why is because the information is there to help you buy a car. Everything is laid out, from trades to interest rates to warranty products to new to used to certified to all this stuff, Randy.
All right, we'll come back and have one more break with Louie Herron on the weekend kickoff here on Country 102, brought to you by Louie Herron Toyota. 8:19, here's the latest from Blake Shelton.